So that happens, and it'll be about 27 Rand 58 per hour. But is there a hidden agenda behind this amendment, or is this minimum wage in some ways long overdue? Joining us right now is Jenna Adams from Adams and Associates. She is an attorney, and she's our attorney expert that joins us on the line to chat more about this. Oh, actually in studio. What is this about on the line? Also, we are live on Facebook, so by all means, go ahead and check us out on Facebook and be part of the conversation. Send us your questions if you have any questions regarding the minimum wage on 0817291657. Jenna, good afternoon. It's always lekker and a pleasure to have you in studio and to chat to you. Let's get into this one. Firstly, are there a few exceptions to this new national minimum wage amendment?
Yes, Cliff, that's correct. So the minimum wage increase will not apply to anyone employed through the Extended Development Works Program or through learnership agreements that are stipulated through the Skills Development Act. This also doesn't apply to government workers who work as the South African Defence Force, South African Intelligence Agency, and those types of organizations. The minimum wage doesn't apply to them.
Okay. So to those of whom this does apply to, by when should employers increase the hourly rate, since this comes into effect on the 1st of March?
The hourly rate increase will come into effect on the 1st of March 2024.
So, I mean, contract-wise, what does that mean then for employers?
So it means all employers will need to comply with the increase, which is going from 25 Rand 42 per hour to now 27 Rand 58 per hour. It will be mandatory to comply with that.
Sure. Okay. But now what happens if an employer it refuses to push it up? I mean, 1st of March is around the corner, you know.
That's true. And of course, there are already a lot of employers who don't comply with the existing national minimum wage. So this is actually a criminal offense. And anyone who doesn't comply with the minimum wage should be reported to the Department of Employment and Labour, who will send out a labour inspector who will conduct a little bit of an investigation. If the employer is found wanting in this department, they are able to be fined in terms of the Basic Conditions of Employment Act. And how this fine works is it's either double the employee's hourly rate or double the employee's monthly salary.
Okay, so it's basically you comply, or otherwise it's double trouble. I mean, it's completely unnecessary financially speaking. And then also just in terms of the amendment, does the national minimum wage amendment include things such as allowances, traveling costs, food and accommodation, or is that excluding?
It's excluding. So it won't count into effect things like domestic workers who get food or accommodation. It won't include that or anything related to transport or equipment needed for the employee to do their work.
Yeah, okay. And then also, I mean, you know, I was sitting and I was looking at this, and I don't know, I just feel like everything that now happens, my mind automatically just goes to things such as, elections are this year.
That's correct.
Like automatically I'm thinking, you proposed it this year? Do you know what I'm saying?
Well, to be fair, for the past couple of years, we have had an annual increase in the minimum wage. But this year, it's a little bit bigger. It's an 8.5% increase, which is 3% above inflation. So this could be seen as something to gather votes.
Of course.
But it might also backfire.
So then I have to ask you, is there a hidden impact behind the national minimum wage amendment?
Yes, and I've already received queries on this topic because a lot of companies and small businesses who are very badly affected post-COVID can't afford this increase. They weren't told much in advance what the increase was going to be. They haven't budgeted for this. They can't afford it. So I'm already receiving calls and inquiries about restructuring, retrenchments.
Wow.
This will impact the South African economy.
Okay, so why such a huge increase compared to the normal percentage of increase year upon year? Why this year is this one then so massive? I mean, surely the government took into consideration that it would then have this negative impact, the one that you are speaking about.
Yeah, look, I think a consideration has been the cost of living crisis that we're all currently experiencing. And, even with this increase, the minimum wage is only increasing to about 4,776 Rand.
Yeah.
That doesn't cover most people's rent and food for the month. So, to be honest, people are suffering. So, they've had to try and find a way to allay people's concerns. But a better way would probably have been to develop and invest in increasing employment. We have a massive youth unemployment rate in this country, higher than most other African countries and in Europe as well. And the focus should probably have been on that department.
Yeah. Instead of them pushing up the hourly rate, create more jobs is probably the call that would have helped. Now, you said that you are receiving a lot of questions surrounding this in terms of companies, which for those companies, for those employers that says, "Oh, but I can't afford this." Do you then see a increase in the unemployment rate? Should companies then resolve to retrenchment in order for them to then come in line with the new amendment?
Yes, so employers are trying to obviously save costs. It's completely understandable. This is a big punch to the pocket. And a lot of them will look straight to retrenchment, or they will first try and look at alternatives, such as maybe reducing the working hours or reducing the amount of days per week that the employee will work. But they've got to be careful here because they can't fall foul of just unilaterally making these changes. All of this has to be agreed with the employee. It's got to be in writing. It's got to be confined in with, consent. They can't just unilaterally apply these changes.
But then also there's the whole minimum amount of hours that you need to work a week, isn't it? Or maximum amount of hours that you need to work.
There's a maximum, not a minimum. Yeah. So that's where employers will try and look for a bit of leeway to negotiate.
A lot of people tend to say that in government, so if you're a government worker and this is applied, you are secured, you're safe. There's not many retrenchments or many people that they would let go of because government is government.
Sure.
But for those people that own businesses, it's not just the salaries that are going up, but it's also the everything around you, the petrol, those things. So whatever they're offering, that now also has to increase. Whatever service or product they are offering has to increase. So I just feel like it's you can't win anyway.
I think we're going to see a shift away from possibly manual labor to the use of technology to overcome that sort of obstacle.
It's a sad one because, I mean, when you think about it as well, would I want to also take a pay cut at the end of it, given the fact that the rise in cost of living as well? So I don't know, now I'm mixed. Now I feel mixed about this, Jenna, because on the one end, I'm like, yes, let's increase this hourly rate. You know what I'm saying? Like let's increase it because financially speaking, great. But then on the other side, I'm like, but what about the companies that is, now having to really look at things, because it's not just an increase for one sector, it's an increase for most sectors. It's an increase for the entire company, for all of the employees as well. So financially speaking, and this comes into effect on the 1st of March.
Yeah.
That's a few weeks ago, 2 weeks away.
And that's what I'm saying. A lot of people prefer a government job than anything else because there's a sense of security compared to having working for someone else, working for someone that is owning their own company or business. Because like you said, the hours then gets cut and or they find other means to stretch it.
Yeah. So Jenna, just also coming to a close here, is there no way that, in future government is required to ask or to liaise with companies in advance, or is that just a case of government gets to make the decision and companies must just fall in line?
Well, to be honest, this proposal, the amendment proposal, was actually published a few months ago.
Okay.
It's just that most people aren't aware that, before the government gazette comes out, that it's published and that you can, use your local politicians to try and negotiate this in Parliament. And it's just a matter of people not really knowing their rights and not accessing the political system properly and engaging with their democratic rights. But this was open for discussion.
Man.
In public participation,
well, that's unfortunate. Well, listen, if you are an employee, good news. the hourly rate as of the 1st of March goes up to 27.58 Rand per hour. So well done to you for y'all that is working on the hourly rate. It is being pushed up. And if you are an employer, all the best. I hope that it works out. And I hope that whatever plan you come up with, that no one gets retrenched and no one gets fired. Because you need to fall in line with the wage bill, which of course comes in effect on the 1st of March 2024. Jenna, thank you for your time. It's always lekker and a pleasure to have you.
Thank you for having me.
It's always a delight to have you. And of course, if you want to catch this conversation again, head on over to Facebook as well. You can check it out on Facebook, or alternatively, head on over to our podcast, because these conversations, especially the conversations we're having with Jenna, will be on podcast as well. 7 minutes before we're hitting on top of the hour as well. And for those of you that came through on WhatsApp, thank you so much. Julle mense is lekker mense, van julle mense is mooi mense. Michaela, on the other hand, Jenna, just a really quick one to ask you this question. If I must give you this riddle, what would you say the answer would possibly be? Are you good with riddles?
I'm not too sure. Let's give it a try.
Okay.
You're better than Cliff, don't worry. You got this.
Shade, okay. I make two people out of one. What am I?
Come on, Jenna.
Don't know?
I don't know.
I make two people out of one.
Any clues?
What am I?
You tell me, Cliff.
Okay.
I'm going to concede on this one.
Nice. Okay, good. You conceding. I appreciate your honesty. Thank you for being honest, Jenna. That's the type of people that I appreciate. Thank you. If you know the answer, get through to me on the WhatsApp number 081791657. Riddle me this. I make two people out of one. What am I? 081791657.